St. Louis Post-Dispatch for the last, 15, 20 years? His name is Ben Frederickson. You thought he was two people, but he's really only one person.
I think you were the only one who thought he was two people.
Ben Frederickson, welcome to Big 550 KTRS. Good
morning, guys. Not quite 15, 20 years, but I was an intern at the paper back in 2011, so it goes back a little ways.
All right. Now, you're originally from where? Sedalia?
Yes, sir. Yeah, home of the Missouri State Fair, which is pretty much the only reason Sedalia would be in anyone's brain, if it is at all.
Well, also the home of the world-famous sports columnist from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, Ben Frederickson.
Yeah, working on that.
We welcome you to the sports staff here at the Big 550 KTRS. We're thrilled to have you aboard. All right, so let's get right to it. Giancarlo Stanton is on the Miami Marlins. You write in your hometown newspaper, stltoday.com, that the Marlins, owned by Derek Jeter, are going to go on a sale. They're going to start purging some of these guys. Cardinals have any interest? Are they going to make that trade?
Well, they certainly have interest. A lot of teams are going to have interest in the kind of offense that Stanton can provide. There's a lot of reasons to go, man, that would be tough to make it work, though. The biggest of which is his contract, which averages $25 million a year through 2027. Now, a lot of guys are going to get paid a lot of money, but when you're talking about a power hitter with that lengthy backloaded deal that also has opt-outs, there are a lot of questions that come up. Mainly, are you going to pay a guy for production that isn't going to be there by the end of the deal? So that's a big question. A lot of teams are going to have interest in Stanton. A lot of teams are going to want the Marlins to eat some of that money in order to trade for him. So that's kind of the big question: is how much money will the Marlins be willing to take on in that deal in order to get rid of him and get him off their books?
The Cardinals have done a great job, it seems like, of coming in second to a lot of big free agents. And mind you, I don't think it's ever really hurt them all that much. So where are the Cardinals on this?
Well, it's I think a lot of fans feel like they're ready for the Cardinals to make that big splashy trade or that big splashy free agent signing. They have gone out and signed free agents. They spent more free agent money than they had in a long time last year. Unfortunately for them, Dexter Fowler didn't play the entire season because he was injured, and Brett Cecil was a disaster no matter who you ask. I mean, there's no positive spin you can put on Brett Cecil's season, but they haven't really gone out and made that major face of the franchise type trade. You have to go back to Matt Holliday when they got him from the Rockies, and the Cardinals are in an interesting spot here because their tradition, their history says be pragmatic. Don't make moves that can end up biting you, and that's had a lot of success for them. But this team right now says we need a superstar player. We need a face of the team. We need a guy who steps into the batter's box and other pitchers fear him, and they don't have that guy, and he's not coming up through the minors, so they're in between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
They want to have the success that they've conditioned their fan base to expect, or they're going to have to get uncomfortable and make some sort of an addition that includes some risk. So they have to decide which way they want to go.
I think you could argue, and you sports guys love to dive into the numbers, you guys should figure out where that Matt Holliday trade ranks on the greatest trades of all time, because what production they got for him in that $100 million contract, probably one of the best sign-in trades ever in the history of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it's up there, and Matt Holliday got, for some reason there were some fans who never really appreciated what he did, but when you look at his production by year, and the last year of it wasn't great, but that's not how contracts are designed. Yet the last years are supposed to be the years where you're going, man, this is clearly coming to an end. But before that, Matt Holliday was exactly what the Cardinals hoped he would be and more. And they missed that. They missed that presence in the lineup because even as Matt Holliday has declined over the years, he still has that reputation, that factor that when he's up to bat, a pitcher has to fear giving up a home run. And the Cardinals hit home runs this year. Jed Jerko had a great first half, and it's no offense to Jed, he played great. But
yeah.
Jed Jerko doesn't really strike fear in an opponent's heart when he gets in the batter's box. They don't have that guy, and they haven't had him since Holliday left and since Holliday was in his prime. And before that, it was Pujols. And now they need to you can't replace Albert Pujols, but you got to look around and say who's our MVP, who's the face of the lineup.
Yeah, Ben. While we have you, I tune out the criticism of Mike Matheny because it's ridiculous. But is he on the hot seat in some way, shape, or form?
I think every manager's on the hot seat in some way, shape, or form. There's only 30 jobs, and the Cardinals are expected to be in the postseason every year. They have an incredibly high expectation. Bill DeWitt, who's the ultimate one who has to decide on this, is a big supporter of Mike. He has been, he has been very much in his camp. I think he remains to be. But if the Cardinals go 3 seasons without a postseason appearance, then of course the manager's going to be on the hot.
But
it doesn't matter who it is.
Right, but Joe Girardi was a manager of the Yankees. He's been there for how long? He got him to the playoffs, and that wasn't good enough, right? I mean, I think what did they fire? Three managers whose teams were in the playoffs?
Yeah, Dusty Baker, John Farrell. John Farrell had won a World Series, so even he wasn't
right.
Even he wasn't safe. It's a trend. It's going to happen more often as the front office is more and more involved in managerial decisions. The managers are more and more becoming kind of extensions of the front office. So when they don't feel like they're giving them where they need to be, they're going to become more and more expendable. Mike has had an incredible start. I mean, the history. I mean, the first manager to get his team to the postseason in his first 5 seasons. He's managed in a World Series, but if you're looking for points of criticism, more are starting to come. It's been the backward slide in terms of when they've exited the postseason, not getting there the past 2 years. But you can also make a case that his talent on the roster has declined. So,
right.
To me, the question is if the Cardinals front office puts a better team around him, and they've clearly improved his coaching staff in bringing Jose Oquendo back, and I think Mike Maddox is a good hire. They've added Willie McGee, which no one's going to complain about. If they give him some players now, if they give him that bat this team needs, if they go get him a closer, and then this team falls short, well, then there's fewer people to hang the blame on than the manager.
Do you have a pick for tonight, Game 7?
I'm going to go Dodgers. I think last night's win was huge for them. They're at home. I think Darvish bounces back, and I don't think the Astros have any sort of reliever that can get the last out. I think they needed to get it done with Verlander, and they weren't able to do it.
There you go. Ben Frederickson, the St. Louis Post-Dispatch sports columnist, the pride of Sedalia, Missouri, and the newest personality here on the Big 550 KTR Sports Team. Ben, thanks for joining us. We look forward to it each week.
Yeah, it'll